Hey, Ishan, it was great to see you in Taipei last week during the Computex 2026. And the week was filled with some exciting announcements from the PC ecosystem. The biggest news was obviously the NVIDIA's announcement about the RTX Spark. And we also see a lot of partnership with the key Windows PC OEMs. And the whole keynote was around the agentic AI capability and the premium experiences. And can you give us some of your first thought, first impression of this product, and how do you think about the future trend of the agentic PCs?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. It was a great week. I think my first impression of RTX Spark is that this is actually quite a significant strategic move for NVIDIA. And not just because of the impressive hardware specs, but actually because of the larger market signal. So this is clearly NVIDIA going from being a component supplier to actually a platform owner in the PC space. They're bringing capabilities like CUDA, DLSS, TensorRT, Reflex, and G-Sync, essentially decades of software ecosystem excellence into an ARM-based PC form factor, and also doing it in deep partnership with Microsoft. So in my mind, that's a combination that others in the Windows and ARM space simply cannot match today, especially when you think about things like GPU intensive and creator workloads. Now, on the bigger agentic AI trend, I think this is where it gets both exciting and a little bit uncertain. So this vision of local AI agents running on device with 128 gigs of unified memory and a petaflop of compute is very compelling from a numbers perspective, especially for privacy and latency reasons. But we're actually still very early in terms of defining what an agentic PC experience looks like for the user. And that's especially true because a lot of the developer tooling is only just being built out now. And then finally, I think there's a consideration of pricing. So these are clearly going to be very premium devices with high price points, and that's going to put them in a very niche territory at launch. I'm thinking here like high-end creators, developers, maybe some enthusiast gamers as well. So the mass market really isn't going to walk into a store and start asking for a petaflop of AI compute on a laptop anytime soon. So overall, what I'd say is architecturally very strong and strategically very bold, but not likely to be a major market mover in the short term, and also still very dependent on good execution in the market. Now, the other key trend that we observed at Computex was actually on the lower end of the market. Qualcomm announced its C-series chip. There was more buzz around Intel's Wildcat Lake series of chips. And then PCs like the new Dell XPS 13 were also launched in sort of the $500 to $700 range. So what are your thoughts on these moves, especially now at a time when the market is feeling quite a lot of cost pressure from the memory and storage supply crunch?
Yeah, thanks, Ishan. This year, Apple's introduction of the MacBook Neo has put a lot of pressure to the whole Windows ecosystem, especially at the moment that memory, storage, and processor are all in serious shortage, and we also see the component costs have skyrocketed. Intel's Wildcat Lake and Qualcomm Snapdragon C series offer a lot of hope for the low price lineups. Asus, and Dell have reviewed their Wildcat Lake-based device, the Swift Air 14, the VivoBook S14 and 16, and the XPS 13. On the Qualcomm side, Acer also unveiled the Aspire Go 15 as their first laptop. Although the pricing has not been disclosed, we believe those lineups will be below $700 and in some cases even lower. However, the key question is whether all those PC vendors can hold this price as component costs continue to rise and for how long. Our concern is that might not even be able to last for one more quarter. Omdia's latest PC forecast still anticipate a 14% decline in 2026. And this might not be reversed even when that much effort PC vendors are putting in. For the PC market this year, a key common sense point is that if you want to buy a PC, buy it now.
Yeah, that's good advice. Well, thanks for the insights, Ben. That's all we have time for today. But if you'd like to hear more from us, please do get in touch.